Universal sent me a copy of Nosferatu on Blu-ray, which includes the extended edition. And I was really, when I found, they announced this months ago because I think it hit digital. Well, the movie's only been around for like 2 months anyway, but maybe it's been around a month or so. The movie plays in theaters, right? And then they put it on digital. And when they put it on digital, they're like, now with the extended cut. And I was like, well, that's not fair for people that supported it in the theater. So what is the extended cut? Well, having seen it now, it's about 4 minutes longer, and it's really just an extension of a couple of scenes. I like the extensions. I think that this should actually have been the theatrical version, but I know why they were cut. So one of them, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Nosferatu, so if you haven't seen it, you don't know anything about it, I'm about to mention the name Count Orlok. If that's a spoiler for you, I'm so sorry, but he is the title character of the movie. There's more of him. The theatrical cut kind of hides his reveal for a while. And in this extended scene, you see him a little bit earlier. And I'm cool with it. Listen, man. Listen. I think that's what Bill Skarsgård did as Count Orlok is, it is good. I mean, dude lowered his voice by an octave. And he did, like, he's got the way he speaks. It's just an incredible complete transformation. I know that Count Orlok, like, I know some people don't like Count Orlok because they're like, he's got a mustache, and like if you don't know, he's got a mustache at this point, and that's, who gives a crap, right? I think it's like, he looks. Robert Eggers goes in the commentary and stuff. He says, well, I haven't listened to the commentary yet, but in the making of, he says that that character looks like what a dead Transylvanian nobleman would have looked like in the 1800s. And he's so right. Of course he does. And Robert Eggers is very concerned with history and accuracy. And I think it works. I think everything in that movie from Transylvania, all the Transylvania scenes, all of the, Orlok's castle, all that stuff. I think all that stuff is magic. It is movie magic. And I love it. It's shot on film and it looks freaking beautiful. And then there's some other stuff. There's a scene with him and Lily Rose Depp that kind of foretells that Orlok is involved in their lives more than they realize. That's a little bit less essential. But I guess I should say, like, I like Nosferatu. I like it. I don't love it. I do love Robert Eggers. I like his commitment to history because I love history. I was a history major in college. I was actually going for I was pursuing history education. And so when I see somebody that cares about history and bringing that accurately to the screen, I'm always going to connect with that. And so, I like Nosferatu, but I don't love Nosferatu, and I'm not sure that I can tell you why. Something just doesn't connect for me. I think part of it is Lily Rose Depp, who is not bad in the movie by any stretch of the imagination. And what she's doing is actually incredibly intense. And there's a 40-minute documentary on the Blu-ray talking about how they made the movie. And like the training that she went through with her body so that she could contort herself into different things. It's like a Japanese, like, what's the word? Like a convulsion sort of a thing. It's very impressive. But I don't know, part of it, like, I hate to admit this, but I'm being honest, right? I see so much of her dad in her. There are scenes in that movie I feel like I'm watching Johnny Depp. And I don't think that's a good thing. It's distracting. And I hope that that's not something that follows her, because that's not fair to her. And I don't feel good about saying that, but I have to be honest about it. It feels very, I'm like, is this another one of Johnny Depp's weird makeup costumes? Is this one of his makeups? And that feels so reductive, and it feels so wrong to me because I respect what she's doing. But part of it just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work. And there's another part of it too that, Anya Taylor-Joy is Robert Eggers' muse, basically. I mean, she's in so much of his work, and she was going to be that role in this movie, but she did Furiosa instead, and the scheduling didn't work. And I'm like, I could have had a movie with Anya Taylor-Joy in that role. That would have been preferable to me, because I've already got a relationship with them, with Robert and her having that working history. So I don't know. None of my problems with the movie are with Orlok or with the horror element. I think it's, sometimes I wonder if the horror, because the movie has done well. It's done really well, actually. I think it's made about $150 million just in theaters and in early, I think that's just in theaters. Off of, I believe, a $50 million budget or something like. It's done well, but horror fans have been pretty upset about it. They don't like it. The diehard, and I'm not a diehard horror fan. I like gothic horror. I like Hammer. I like the Universal monsters. I like a very specific kind of horror, which is what this movie is. It's a gothic horror with a lot of romance in it. I am a romantic in the literal sense of the word, in the sense of like the romantic painters, the romantic musicians, the romantic style, not like love story, but like the elements of the style of a romantic approach to a story. That's what this is. I wonder sometimes if the Terrifier movies have so ruined the horror story that we can't go back now, or it's going to be work to get back, because those movies are so gory. Is horror, and you can weigh in on this too, is horror becoming only for the edgelords? It has to be extreme or there's no point. Because the criticisms about Nosferatu are like, oh, it's so mainstream. I mean, it's a Hollywood film. It's a Universal film. Of course it's mainstream, but it's also very well staged, and the historical accuracy again, and adapting that story. It's probably the most faithful version of that. Well, it's an incredibly faithful version of Nosferatu, which itself exists to sidestep Bram Stoker and his estate, so that the creators of the film, the silent version, 100 years ago, didn't have to pay for rights. Yeah, that's what it is. So in the sense of that, I mean, this is an incredibly accurate version of Dracula in the sense of like what the historical costumes would have been. The Francis Ford Coppola version of Dracula with Gary Oldman is so larger than life. Like, I've crossed oceans to find you. It's so like, I don't know. I like it. I think I don't love it. I like it. I think this is better. I think Nosferatu is better than that. But you got to live with it for a while. I don't know. This thing's loaded too. It's got the 40-minute documentary. It's got it's got deleted scenes. The big one for me is the feature-length commentary with director Robert Eggers, because listen, when he talks, I want to know what he's got to say, because he made the thing, right? And we don't get a lot of directors' commentaries anymore, which is a huge deal when we do get them. So, he's an auteur to me. He's an auteur director.